Trucker's Surprising Horror Story, Terror on the Road. Part 1, The Beginning of Terror. I am Tiao, a truck driver for over 30 years. I have traveled thousands of kilometers, faced storms, snowstorms, and even landslides. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for the night I am about to tell you about. A night that started like any other but turned into something I will never forget. It was a routine delivery, or at least it should have been. I was transporting a load of electronics to a city about 300 kilometers away. The route was simple, a main highway, well lit, and with little traffic at night. Nothing out of the ordinary, except for the fact that I had never made this delivery before. The company I worked for had just closed a contract with a new store, and I was chosen to make the first delivery. The night was calm, the sky clear, and the full moon illuminating the road. I enjoyed driving at night. There was something peaceful about the empty roads and the silence. I turned on the radio, tuning into a country music station, my favorite. The singer's raspy voice filled the truck cabin, and I felt at ease. Everything seemed normal until it started. First, there was a small tremor in the steering wheel. I thought it was just a pothole in the road. But then the tremor intensified. The truck began to vibrate and the engine made a strange sound, as if it were about to fail. I slowed down and pulled over to the shoulder, trying to figure out what was happening. I got out of the truck and opened the hood. Everything seemed normal. I checked the tires, the oil, the radiator water. Nothing out of the ordinary. I returned to the cabin and tried to start the engine again. It started, but the tremor continued. I decided to keep going, hoping it was just a temporary problem. The road ahead seemed endless, and the vibration in the steering wheel worsened with each kilometer. Suddenly, the headlights flickered and went out. I was left in the dark, with only the moonlight illuminating the road. I tried to turn on the headlights manually, but nothing happened. I grabbed the flashlight I always carry with me and lit up the road ahead. That's when I saw something that sent chills down my spine. The road, which should have been straight and well paved, seemed to turn into a dirt trail. The trees around me seemed taller and denser, and the forest closed in on me. I felt a shiver run down my spine, but I kept driving, hoping it was just an illusion caused by the lack of light. As I continued, the road became narrower and more winding. The curves were tight, and I could barely keep the truck on the road. The vibration in the steering wheel had disappeared, but now I felt something different, a presence. It was as if someone was watching me, following me. I looked in the rearview mirror but saw nothing but darkness. I tried to shake off the feeling, telling myself it was just my imagination, but the sense of unease grew with each kilometer. Part 2, Haunting on the Road. Suddenly I saw a figure in the middle of the road. It was a shadowy figure dressed in black and white striped clothes, like a prisoner's uniform. He was motionless, as if waiting for something. I slowed down, unsure of what to do. The figure did not move, just continued staring at the truck. I stopped the truck and got out, flashlight in hand. As I approached the figure, I could see that he had a pale face and empty eyes. He seemed not to blink, just kept staring at me. "Are you okay?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. The figure did not respond. He just continued staring at me, expressionless. "Do you need help?" I insisted, feeling fear growing inside me. Finally, the figure spoke. His voice was low and hoarse, as if coming from far away. "You shouldn't be here," he said. I felt a chill run through my body. "What do you mean?" I asked, trying to stay calm. "This road is not safe," the figure replied. "You must leave." I looked around, feeling the darkness closing in on me. "I need to deliver a shipment," I said. "I can't just leave." The figure took a step toward me and I felt an intense cold. "You don't understand," said the figure. "This road is cursed. Those who pass through it are never the same again." I felt panic take over me. I took a step back, trying to distance myself from the figure. "I need to go," I said, stuttering. The figure reached out his hand, as if trying to reach me. "It's too late," he said. "You are already marked." I turned and ran back to the truck. I didn't look back, but I could feel a presence behind me, watching my every move. I started the engine and accelerated, trying to leave the figure behind. However, as I drove, I could see the figure in the rearview mirror, still standing in the middle of the road, staring at me. The road seemed endless, and I felt like I was driving in circles. The trees around me seemed to close in, and the darkness became increasingly oppressive. I tried to turn on the radio again, but all I heard was static. I felt despair take over me. Part 3. Terrifying account at the diner. Suddenly, I saw a light ahead. It was a gas station, brightly lit and inviting. I felt a momentary relief. I stopped the truck and entered the station, feeling my legs shaking. The attendant looked at me with an expression of surprise. "Are you okay?" the attendant asked. I nodded, trying to catch my breath. I saw something on the road," I said. "A figure. He said the road was cursed." The attendant looked at me with a serious expression. "You're not the first to say that," he said. "Many truckers report seeing strange things on this road. They say it's haunted." I felt a chill run down my spine. "What do I do?" I asked, feeling fear take over me again. The attendant sighed. "You must keep going," he said, "but be careful and never stop for anyone on the road." I thanked the attendant and returned to the truck. I felt a weight on my chest, but I knew I had to keep going. I started the engine and accelerated, trying to leave the fear behind. Part 4. Endless Night of Terror. The road seemed endless, and I felt like I was driving in circles. The trees around me seemed to close in, and the darkness became increasingly oppressive. I tried to turn on the radio again, but all I heard was static. I felt despair take over me. Suddenly, I saw a light ahead. It was a car parked on the shoulder. I slowed down, feeling a mix of relief and apprehension. I stopped the truck and got out, trying to see if anyone needed help. As I approached the car, I noticed it was empty. However, there was something on the driver's seat. An old flashlight, similar to the one the figure on the road was holding. I felt a chill run through my body. I picked up the flashlight and examined it, feeling an intense cold. That's when I heard a sound coming from behind me. I turned around and saw the figure of the shadowy figure standing in the middle of the road staring at me. I felt panic take over me. I dropped the flashlight and ran back to the truck, feeling my heart pounding in my chest. I got into the cabin and locked the doors, feeling fear take over me. I started the engine and accelerated, trying to leave the figure behind. However, as I drove, I could see the figure in the rearview mirror, still standing in the middle of the road, staring at me. The road seemed endless, and I felt like I was driving in circles. The trees around me seemed to close in, and the darkness became increasingly oppressive. I tried to turn on the radio again, but all I heard was static. I felt despair take over me. The night seemed endless, and I began to feel a deep exhaustion. My eyes were heavy, and I struggled to stay focused. In a moment of weakness, I stopped the truck on the shoulder and decided to rest for a few minutes. I closed my eyes, thinking it would be just a brief nap. Final part: the mystery of the road. When I woke up, the sun was already rising. The morning light flooded the truck cabin, and I felt disoriented. I looked around and realized I was parked in the same place where I had stopped to rest. I felt a momentary relief, but I was still uneasy. Suddenly, I heard a knock on the truck window. I turned around and saw a police officer standing next to the door. I opened the window, feeling a mix of relief and apprehension. "Good morning, sir," said the officer. "Are you okay?" "Yes, I'm fine," I replied, trying to sound calm. "I just stopped to rest a bit." The officer looked at me with a serious expression. "Do you know where you are?" he asked. I shook my head, still trying to get my bearings. "I'm not sure," I admitted. The officer sighed. "You're on Highway 23, one of the most dangerous roads in the region," he said. Many truckers report strange experiences here, especially at night. I felt a chill run down my spine. "What do you mean by strange experiences?" I asked. The officer looked around as if making sure we were alone. "They say this road is haunted," he said. "There are rumors that a thief who wore a black and white striped prisoner's uniform used to rob truckers on this road. He was arrested, but managed to escape from prison. They say he died on this road while escaping, but not before performing a macabre ritual, cursing the place." I felt an intense cold. "And what happens to the truckers who pass through here?" I asked, my voice trembling. "No trucker can make it through the early morning on this road," said the officer. "They all end up stopping and waking up at dawn, like you. And they all report seeing the same figure." I fell silent, trying to process what the officer had said. "And what do I do now?" I finally asked. The officer shrugged. "Keep going," he said. "But be careful, and never stop for anyone on the road." I thanked the officer and started the truck's engine. As I drove, I couldn't get the story he had told out of my mind. The road, which now seemed so ordinary in the daylight, still held dark secrets. And I knew that, although I had survived the night, the memory of that figure and the fear I felt would stay with me forever. Since then, I have never driven on that road at night. And whenever I hear other truckers talk about strange experiences, I can't help but think of that night and the figure that changed my life forever. The end. Subscribe to our channel to know about new videos.